Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing. Today here on Conscious Business Zone with Jade Rehder. Hi, Jade.
Aloha, Kathy. Aloha, everyone.
Oh, I'm so glad. I love Jade Rehder. And you may know that from actually a year ago, I think was the time that we did one of these. So you were one of my first ones of these. So anyway, Jade, I want everyone to know, well, okay, so I met Jade 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Oh my God, a long time ago, because she used to live in Colorado and she was magical then, but she and her husband owned a roofing company. So she was magical on the side. And like so many people, she was straddling both worlds. So Jade, let's go back to how did you jump into doing this full time, and then we'll talk about the other.
Beautiful. Absolutely. And
Okay.
I aloha you, Kathy,
Oh,
and so much gratitude. So I had straddled the worlds for a lot of years. I've been on this awakened path of paying attention to consciousness for 20 and still was owning a residential roofing company, right? Like that is just such, two ends of the spectrum. And in 2016, I was told on the summer solstice that by equinox, I wasn't allowed to make money any way other than sharing my gifts. And at the time, I was working in a crystal room on Mount Shasta, part time, just barely making it, just barely paying my bills. Couldn't go anywhere. I didn't have any freedom. I didn't have any movement. And I listened, and I literally had to ask, just ask my expanded self, others may call it the universe, but I asked for the support to continue moving. And what was cool is I saw that a contract was coming. And how many spiritual coaches end up with a contract? Well, I ended up with a contract that paid my bills every month and allowed me to move. Yet I was able to do my work during it. I
wow.
was still using my tools and gifts. I sometimes just had to use different language. Yet I want to share with everyone, it took me 11 years to get to that point. And I know it's no longer that long of a journey. I am watching people do it in 3 weeks or 3 months, popping what it took me 11 years to fortify through. And really one of the things that's shifted so much is going from the push of perseverance and patience to the grace of resilience, which is really a re-silencing.
Right.
And I'm so grateful for really working multidimensionally, which has allowed my mind to silence at a level. I was walking yesterday going, there is no list running in my head right now. How many lists used to run? I mean, I couldn't sleep. I used to have to knock myself out because I couldn't quiet my very active creative mind.
The first time I met you, we were in your basement at your office,
Yeah.
and you were doing an event with Erin Anderson and Larry Bayshore. And in
Mm-hmm.
fact, this morning, I picked up my pendant that they made me, and I was like, "Oh, it was tarnished. I really should polish that."
I
I
need
don't.
to polish mine too.
Well, I bet it still got mojo. But what was happening back then is Jade was so sensitive. She was hyper aware of everything, and you could tell that she was working on the field with that awareness. So even millions of years ago, 20 years ago, you could tell that Jade had it and that it was going to be refined. So it's so cool to watch you being sculpted like or faceted like a diamond as everything has come together. Because you guys, you have to understand, Jade has a capacity, because of her esoteric knowledge and her capacity to use energy, that she can flip and space really quickly. She can flip her light body so that your light body, which resonates with her light body, shifts. And it can be done digitally as well as in person. It's quite remarkable.
Mahalo, Kathy. I really appreciate that. And you putting it in those terms, it really is an energetic body transmission that we're all doing with each other all the time. And we don't have to be in physical proximity
Right.
with the magic. I remember when I first saw Zoom 4 years ago, my naturally highly sensitive person, empathic self, literally danced down the hallway going, there is the way that I can really be of contribution, right? To so many people without being at the effect. Now, all of you sensitives, you still can be affected through electronics.
Yep.
Yet there are energy practices that you can put in place and energy agreements. You know, we all talk about those unseen binding agreements. How about we create some agreements for ourselves, which we can do? And a simple one I can share right now, Kathy, is asking that you are filtered from the push that comes through your electronic communications. And the reason I bring this up is I've literally had my field singed by a very projective person. Empaths are naturally receptive and projective. And if a very sensitive person is projecting, it is like getting missiles thrown at you.
Before you go too far, and everyone that's listening right now, we've got a bunch of people on.
Aloha.
Not everyone might know what an empath is. Could we start? I mean, I
Oh, we can start there. Yeah.
please.
Well, I mean, my definition of empath is someone on an empowered path. So if you look it up, it may tell you someone who's in misery, who picks up other people's emotions and pain. I'll tell you it's someone who's awake in the physical world and is on a journey of empowering their own path. And I put, I EM in capitals, powered, and then path. So it's an empowered path in one big long word. And it is creating the awarenesses. Now, with that naturally awakened lower three centers of energy, your sensitivity is expanded compared to those who have shut their natural in gifts down. And as someone who did shut down two of her higher gifts, hearing for others and or hearing, yeah, really it was for others that I shut down. And also picking up people's thoughts telepathically, and also my vision I had shut down when I was 10 years old. When I was 33, I turned it back on. So, and that's 20 years ago. So you guys can too. If you shut them down, no, it's okay. It was just a safety mechanism that you created so that you could continue on your journey. Yet you have the ability and the capacity to have those gifts back. If you remember being so magical when you were a kid and when you were a child, things just unfolded for you like you couldn't have made it up, like you were living a magical life. You have that ability to do right here, right now in 2019 and beyond.
Yeah, yep. And it feels like that's the huge gift of all of this is that we'll be talking in a few seconds about Jade's modality, but I wanted to keep going on empaths because I think that everyone, in my view, as the new light is coming into the earth, everyone is going to become an empath. Now, some of us have been empathic since I've been little, and I was clairsentient, clairaudient, and like on alert to my environment, not knowing quite how to handle it. And so just shut up. And so are you seeing that with a lot of people that you work with, that they have to reawaken those skills?
I'm seeing people reawakening the skills, yet, you'll be told by a lot of in fact, a shaman told me, and a shaman told a few of my friends who are really, really sensitive and aware that we needed to stop being empaths. I would say, how about we bring it to the heart and get out of the oversensitivity of the enteric nervous system in our gut and go into the heart brain and be sensing from there. When we're sensing at a heart brain level, we are sensing multidimensionally. We're sensing with, if we're getting scientific, in the parasympathetic nervous system instead of in the sympathetic, because our sympathetic nervous system is what a lot of people get stuck in and what gets triggered. Okay. So their lower centers awaken and they're triggered into the feelings with the thoughts.
Uh-huh.
Boom. At a level they're not used to, right? So it's thought, feeling, feeling, thought, feeling, feeling, thought, feeling, feeling, thought. And what happens when we're doing that is we go into overwhelm.
Right.
And I mean, I'm having 60-some-year-old men walk up to me after their wives say, she can help you, like let her tell you what's going on.
Oh,
And oh yeah. And you're talking engineers and they're like, what happened to me? And it's like, well, you were aware here. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, and now you're aware here. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, we bring them together and we go to the awareness of the heart. And when we're in the awareness of the heart, we have a whole, I mean, heart math can tell you guys all the scientific side of how we do have brain cells, or actually neuro cells in our heart tissue that has that ability to sense, yet it's out of what I'll call the thought, feeling, emotion, and thought drama that the
right.
human condition brings us into. And I don't see any of it as wrong anymore. I just see it's time to move past it.
Right. Right. Well, I think what's going to happen, Renee's actually, she put, Renee's here. Thank you, Renee, for being here.
Aloha, Renee.
And I said it right. And
Lebo. Yeah.
actually, please consider that a lot of us are evolving beyond empathy as it is being understood today.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And that sensitivity going well beyond here, and that awareness and how energy is, how words and all the energy that we're creating and emanating
Mm-hmm.
is creating a response, right? And in that response, there's information and there is experience. And when we go into that, and then we go into a bigger awareness. And yes, many are evolving well beyond that. I mean, I got lambasted in an ascension symptom group one time for asking something about how people's empathic experiences were being, and the guy went after me. And what one really graceful lady just said, we're on a spectrum of awareness, and sometimes that's the spectrum of awareness people are sensing through, yet we can evolve it and we can go well past it. And I actually thought I was becoming desensitized again. And
Oh,
I had to sit and notice that as my awarenesses have evolved, that I wouldn't label myself an empath with what society labels as an empath at this point.
oh,
That's
wow. You've evolved past it. Well, the reason I asked is I really see this evolution of our species where we get to more oneness, where there is a sensitivity of your environment, of others in your environment at a much, much higher level. And that's what I was speaking to, is that those beginners, a lot of times they'll wake up to that and not have the tools. And in fact, today I even tagged you on a somebody
okay.
out, because I think that is going to be the next step in our unity consciousness.
Well, let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
Where we just came out of the Piscean era. And as someone with 4 planets in Pisces, no Pisces get offended if it's your sun sign personality or your moon or your rising or anything, right? So
Yeah.
I've got 4 planets in Pisces, including my personality, my expression, my sun. Yet the overlay of that energy, Kathy, has been taking us into a merge.
Oh,
So when you say the word oneness, people may see this as a single thing. Here's how I'm experiencing it.
okay.
Exactly. But see, when we all this is some of the spiritual stuff that kept me stuck. And
Okay.
thank you, Renee LeBeau, for calling me out on it, because she was absolutely correct. I was one of the unity. unification is different than unity.
Right.
Right. And really what we are is unified, not in unity. So that oneness, as in we're all the same, is messy, really messy. I remember when I was told to take responsibility for my life and that everything that was happening in the world, I was creating. And you should have seen me. I was so freaked out because I was taking responsibility for, for the wars in the Middle East that had been happening for thousands of years because I knew about them, right? So here's some of us, very specific beings, make meaning out of things that really contract us. It reduces our consciousness and our awareness, and a lot of times isolates and makes us miserable. So when you look at you as an individual drop of source energy, and you can look at it like one drop in the ocean that is a unified field, yet you're still your own individual drop.
Right.
Okay. Most people go, I am the ocean, and we're all the ocean. And then I'm responsible for the guy who ran a red light. No, this is that over merge, over responsibility, over caring, naturally sensitive beings. Here's what I've had to take ownership of.
Okay.
I'm attempting to control the others by over caring. Feel it. Do you feel that? Yeah.
You can't want people's success more than they want for themselves. That was a hard lesson for me.
That I got at a head level, Kathy, but when I got it in my heart, it was when I noticed I was still attempting to control other people's outcomes or take responsibility for what they created by their choices, even in what I put out in the world. And
okay, I have a question for you then. How did you learn how to trust?
Well, the trust is within myself. It's a self-trust. If we look at the word trust, we've got a whole lot of messy stuff that's created in the world. But if you go into a self-trust, I worked on building my self-trust muscle, and literally just this week created a KLEAR for self-trust. And it was, I watched my mentee who was on the call when I created it. She responded to a contract in her wholeness, in her big, powerful expression, as opposed to her human self, and what that comes, the conditioning that comes with, and when we limit ourselves to just that instead of being the whole of ourselves. And that expanded self, that is one of the ways that my self-trust was really built, was accessing that and allowing that to be with me.
So Renee wrote, yes, spiritual entrainment does not allow for the liberation of humanity.
Renee is a fabulous.
She is. She's
fabulous.
So beautifully. So I want to tell a little quick story, and then we'll talk about KLEARS. Sure. So I was lucky that Jade came to Colorado about a year ago, and we did an event, a 2-day class that was wow. There was, hi, Zach. It was, let's see, I think we had 18 people or something like that. We had 16 or 18 people that took the class, and we cleared so much stuff. And then we got the recordings, and then we could still clear stuff. And when Jade was here, we were in my office, and we had gone to lunch at the tea house, I think. And we came back to my office, and we're standing sort of near the conference room in the office portal. And she says, well, what do you want? And I said, I want to walk into the room and have my light body be so bright that it transmutes any dark energy in the room. She goes, oh, okay. And then I felt this sparkly thing go up and down. It was like, uh-oh, be careful what you ask for. Because right away, whatever was keeping me from doing that was transmuted and gone.
Yeah.
And so because I'm sensitive, I felt it. It wasn't just a knowing like, oh yeah, maybe she did it or maybe she didn't, that kind of thing. It was like, whoa, okay, cool. I got that turned on now. What else?
Oh, that was your request. The thinking Jade wasn't involved. My human aspect didn't
Oh
kick
no.
in there. It just
Okay.
is. Yeah. Yeah.
So when I mentioned about the class, have you done any other classes like that?
I haven't done what I called that in the long run is we did a transcendence of the heart shadow. And yeah, actually I'm getting ready to do one here locally in Oregon in November. So that's yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
any local people go, you will be amazed. It's an
Yeah.
upgrade in your whole being. It's amazing.
It was a blast. It was really fun. I had the opportunity to do a live clear with 250 plus people a couple weeks ago in Portland, Oregon, and to have 250 plus people transcend their resistance and to awaken. It was an event called Spark. We it was about unleashing a potential were her words. So we awakened their potential and we awakened their spark, and it was yeah. There really aren't words for a lot of what really goes on when we're working multidimensionally.
Yeah.
It's an experience. And all of you that aren't feeling a ton of things, you're okay. I
Yeah.
want you all to know that. A lot of times things are happening beyond what our sensitivities are aware of yet. And
Right.
it's okay. Because some people aren't feeling these big influxes of photon light and then they go into comparison, and comparison
Oh,
is
yeah.
a trap. There's a
No,
lot of mind traps, everybody. A lot of
yeah,
mind
no,
traps.
that isn't my intention. My intention is to know that if you see something in your movie, in your hologram, and it keeps repeating and you don't want it there, then that's the indication that you could use a clear. You don't have to feel anything. You just have to be aware.
Yeah.
Renee put Jade, her field of awareness and her clear team are amazing. She is capable of upgrading people's energy field.
Oh, mahalo, Renee.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate you. I aloha
yeah,
you.
yeah. Well, and it seems as though these clears they've been refined. I was lucky enough. So we're going to talk about clears, which are KLEARS, and they're all caps, and it's a magical name because it's a magical process. And before you explain about it, I want to tell everyone that I was in one of your first classes that you ever did these 3 years ago. And we didn't quite know what we were doing, but you knew what you were doing, but it was still gutsy. That's all I can say. I mean, I'm so glad I was there. But you were clearing things that, but using the elements.
Yeah, that was the advanced. That was the advanced
Well, it
the
was
advanced the
kick.
advanced energetically wise, right? Like I had get your happy back, and I had probably I don't even remember what it was called, but it was
I
the more
probably have
expanded.
the files, so I
Yeah, you probably do. I'd change the name now, I'm sure. So
so tell
so
about
yeah.
how you got, because I know you got it. You were in Mount Shasta and you had this
Well,
list.
no, I was actually so
Oh,
Clear was born 3 years ago on Monday. Um, I was told actually here in Ashland, Oregon, where I live the majority of the time, when I met a man who tells you he's from the future when you meet him, that he was going to bring me something I brought out into the world. And I'm like, why would you say that to me? Like if he has something, he should bring it out into the world, right? Like I'm all about, it's that IP thing that's been blasted into me over the years. And I went, and he has a stone rock shop on Mount Shasta, and I was working in a different one. I helped him get his up and organized and going. And he, we were playing with energy. And he called me on the 22nd of October and he said, Jade, I know how to get rid of our egos. And I'm like, knowing that ego conditioning needs to go for us to really expand ourselves into this world. I'm like, how do we do that? And he said, this energy we've been playing with. I said, sure. And he goes, use that and tell it to get rid of the ego and use this. Now, his words I don't use anymore. But, I did that. He said, wait 4 days.
Oh.
I waited 20 minutes and I did it. I have a very rapid processor naturally. So if you like to move quickly, you might like the way I enjoy working with energy.
Yeah.
And I use that word process. What's interesting is there is no processing when you do a clear. Because you don't need to know what the thoughts or the feelings are that are being transcended. Now, you also have no spiritual bypassing because whatever there is there for you to comprehend, for you to become aware of will come to you in the next 3 weeks. And as it comes to you, you take and you move. You alchemize things, you take action, and you move. Right. So it is a way, in my experience, because of the multidimensionalness of it, that we can transcend things well beyond. I worked for years, 15 years with others part-time inside the earth levels of dimensional consciousness, if we're going to give it terms. Okay. And I noticed that things didn't leave to the level they could. Not even, compared to some things, they leave magically. Yet, just like an awareness of something is about a 40% shift when I read the field.
Well, I just have to interject this because I want the listeners to understand that Jade's process does not require that you re-experience trauma, drama, story. It just allows you to release it. And that is the path that I think so many of us want. It's faster and it isn't beat yourself up again about what you did or didn't do or said or didn't say. It's really getting straight to release.
Well, and it's transcendence. Right. So instead of releasing, drops it, that's okay. It just drops it in my field. I have to watch the energy, right? I release it. It drops in my field.
Okay.
And if these are I work on the computer with these, but when these glasses are on, right, there's a filter in my way. And if we transcend that energy, it becomes clear. And so transcendence, it's like changing the lead energy into gold. So we aren't in the quantum field, we're I want to say molecularly changing the energy, but I'm sure a scientist would tell me that's untrue. But we are shifting the state. That I know. So as the state of the energy is shifted from whatever that energy is to your, what I now at this point call your creator source. So that is whatever it is for you. So what's really helpful is I'm not working on you. Your field that I connect into is working on you, that you're already connected into. And the KLEAR team really expands that flow capacity.
Okay, so that's KLEAR team.
Well, the KLEAR team calls themselves the KLEAR team, and that's what they want to be called.
Okay, well, I knew that.
Yeah, it's like,
okay, well, my entourage that's always with me, that helps me do all this magical stuff.
Think Magenta Pixie and the 9. It's like they don't want to be named, and they're really
you at the higher. A lot of the beings that are helping you is probably aspects of you at a higher frequency.
Yeah.
Timeline or higher frequency.
Yeah. Expanded self energy, right? Like that expanded, and their expanded, everyone's expanded self can help them, right? Their multidimensional self can help them, yet creating the space where that happens. That's where I come in. That's where I, as an expression here, shows up.
You're amazing, and it's so fast.
Well, and what's interesting is KLEAR's like in the 50 some generation. And anyone holding themselves back because you haven't figured it out yet, stop right now. Because I held myself back 11 years because I wanted to get it right, perfect, and I was fearful of being wrong. And when I started moving, and then I found that from where I was looking in my new perspective, what I used to believe was wrong, that I've had a lot of wonderful spins into reflection because I had to go, wait a minute. First of all, if I stop believing something and just view it, I have a whole freedom in that. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well,
So clear as it's going to seem like if we have time, it's going to seem like a guided meditation.
uh-huh.
It's more than that. And there are thousands of energies that I'm asking specifically to transcend, and some so far beyond my awareness. I'm aware I don't know much compared to what there is possible to know. So with that, have a, yeah, have that field of what could be is opened. So
Well, I'm trying to get a few more people on here that would love to experience a clear, but it is a work day,
it
so
is a work day for most people.
but
Well, I mean, we could just have a little more discussion, Kathy, and they could hop onto my website where there is a Clear for Stored Anxiety, which is what so many people are experiencing with the collective. Because when we're receptive, which we all are, we just don't admit it. I remember when I first saw a thing on a high functioning, high anxiety person in writing from Psychology Today, I was like, oh, I had to go, you know what,
you're
Jade,
in good
you're in
company
this.
there.
You're
Yeah.
in this.
Oh my gosh. Well, so I just wanted to ask a couple more questions about
Sure.
clear, the evolution of it, because unlike a lot of processes that people do, Jade's embedded the knowledge in each clear that as the frequencies change, the clears change. So if you bought them off her site, or you had a one-on-one with her where you have a recording, how did you know to do that?
Watching my family transform as I chose to transform, I knew energy was, when you understand quantum physics to a point, and I word wise don't have a lot of it, yet I know we can change things. I had the experience and set the invitation that all of the clears continually do the energetic vibrational resonant upgrade as the clear upgrades and as more information comes through. And I had an experience of someone, I love when the evidence comes into my life. Someone purchased a clear that I didn't know, I had never spoken to. She wrote me and asked me what these dots on a sheet of light were. She's like, there's these bright dots on this sheet of light. She was listening to a Generation 3 clear. I said, what clear were you listening to? And she told me. I said, okay, that's a Generation 3 clear. And the information that she was talking about was like Generation 30. And I was like, all right, they're doing what we ask. It's a quantum thing, right? There is no time, there is no space beyond what we've all come into an agreement on
You know
here.
to do that though. I mean, you knew that when you created them to have them upgradable by the team. How did you?
You mentioned something. I
Oh,
remember I remember you mentioning something.
well, no.
And I had experiences of things I had listened to before
Uh,
seeming really different when I listened to them the next time.
uh-huh.
And yeah, I mean,
Uh,
it's a quantum thing. So,
okay, so I got to tell you, Susie Jones says, so very interesting. Renee said, would you be willing to do a clear on waiting for permission from some other outer? That's interesting.
ooh,
And then Noelle and Bob are on, and they're saying they're having trouble hearing. I don't know what to do for you. I'm sorry, but Noelle and Bob said Jade is a powerful goddess. Bob has worked with her before, and there's a lot of planetary anxiety going on.
There is a lot of planetary anxiety. That's why I put the stored clear, stored anxiety clear. Our body has a fight or flight response that stays hardwired to keep us safe, right? Like if a bear is chasing us, if it's a bear, we want to play dead.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do I got to do? Bear, mountain lion, bear, mountain lion. Which one am I doing? The bear literally walks past my studio. We have a camera. The bear walks right past my studio and goes around at night. Yeah, I have physical bear medicine in my world. I live
animals.
Yeah. Bear. Yeah. So with what's going on, Renee's asking for something really beautiful. Like the permission from the other to move would be a fabulous clear. Kathy and I only have 16 minutes left, so we got 25.
What you want to do? I mean, I'm sure no one will be unhappy if you do, especially not me. But
that would be a beautiful freedom to get the outer. So I remember when I worked on permission from outside me, I've done it in a lot of different ways, but I don't know that I've done a clear. Maybe in one of my Ignite group, we did a permission for the, I think Renee called it the outer other. Renee is an amazing linguist, and I want to give kudos to her and thanks, because she actually, when you hear a clear, I don't know how long ago you heard a clear, Kathy. The whole entire linguistics of it has had a huge upgrade. Oh. And that is via me working with Renee on the linguistics of it, so that we're in a place that is as free. You know how she talked about the entrainment holding us in as free as we can be. Yeah. Yeah.
And she said, yes, and you know that it is a suggestion from the heart of creation.
Oh, yes, I absolutely do.
Well, I do want to hear a new clear now.
But now you really want to hear a new. It's been a while, girl.
If we use up our time to do that, I just want to make sure that people know that Jade is having a 3-year anniversary sale on her website. So after you experience this, if you want to go to her site, which I'm putting here on the screen right now, you can actually listen to a few of them for free. You can sign up and get some, or you can get some. She's got a empath relief a page also that you can just listen. But I don't know where I'd be without them. I am very grateful to Jade for my own growth. I can't tell you how powerful and supportive these are for you.
Thank you, Kathy.
You're welcome.
So the empath relief, everyone has 2 energy practice, self-sourcing and the drain, which are simple, quick practices to do. I do them every morning to get ready for the day to be out peopling. And the clear for stored anxiety is there. I made it a non-opt-in. All the marketing people in my world go, because I want people to be able to find it. I want people to be able to find it and just push the button. They're on their phones and they can click down and they can play it in their car. Well, I take that back. If you're riding in the passenger seat in the car, depends upon how, there's no hypnotism happening, but I have a naturally hypnotic voice. And some people, when we expand, it takes them into that expanded state.
Okay,
so,
and I want to give one more comment that these clearings do not cause you, in most cases, there's hardly any. I only once or twice in 3 years have had any powerful shifting where I couldn't function very well. I mean, most of them.
So I've actually made an agreement, Kathy. I've made an agreement with the field that it's in good ecology for everyone and that they can function. Sometimes people will listen to something 3 times in a row in the same day. And then at that point, they've made a choice, right? Everybody's got free will and choice. And then
Yeah.
they're like, Jade, I created this. And I'm like, yes, you did, you know, but you listen to them. If you go through it one time and you allow your field to do its thing, it'll do its thing. And I ask for it to be in the highest, not even the highest, working on language. So in the optimal ecology for you. So good for you, good for the other, good for the whole. And so can you tell me what Renee wrote so I can, because
Okay, so
linguistic precision is cool.
okay, so um, would you be willing to do a clear on waiting for permission from some other outer? Oh, you guys were so lucky.
Here's me trying to figure out what I can call it in short. And even though this is the intention, we will set that entire information into it.
Okay, you guys, I hope you're not driving.
Yeah, if you're driving,
Listen
listen
to
to the replay, please. Because if you're naturally, yeah, we're going to expand out multidimensionally, and it's best if you're localized when you're driving. How's that? Okay.
We're so lucky.
Okay.
Thank you, Jade.
I'm
Thank you.
going to call it, Renee, I'm going to set that full invitation in. And when I short form it, when I'm speaking further into the clear, it will be permission from outside. When I read the energy, that works. Okay, hang on. I've got to have a couple things to awaken. So in a clear, so after Mazibatan is the name of the man on Mount Shasta that brought me the information that I played with. Yet many people have contributed. I just mentioned that Renee LeBeau has upgraded with me the language in the clears. That it's laid out a lot like higher self training, which I learned in my La'au Kahea training from my Kumumegi Connor. Aaron Anderson, who I worked with, that Kathy knows too, in his school on expansion. Some of the words that are in the background come out of there. There are so many people, even people who have listened to a single clear and have said something to me. Everyone has contributed to this field continually expanding and
Upgrading.
I'm saying we're up down, right? So
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
no need to go into star.
Yeah,
Right? It's just
I
it's
guess
one of those things. I'm like it's evolving. That's the word. It's evolving. I remember 10 years ago when I told people I worked in personal evolution, they're like Darwin, and I'm like. Now, at least when you say something about evolving your personal consciousness, people don't look at you like you're crazy. But a decade ago, I
yeah.
got really funny looks.
You
All
are a
right.
visionary and a pioneer. That's all.
All right.
And we're lucky.
Ooh, juicy. The words "it's okay" are really important when a clear is complete and you're experiencing your day, because you may have less thoughts,
Oh,
especially that critic mind thought. And if the thoughts aren't there and you have little gaps, I say to myself, it's okay. And I encourage others to do the same. You can say, wow, there's more space for creativity. There's more space for connection. There's more space for awareness to be here with me. You may feel different because your resonance is different. There's no recalibrating. You are calibrating to your new vibration and resonance. And when you allow yourself to be in that calibration, it can feel a little different. And then sometimes the inner child and body mind start having this conversation. Are we okay? And your answer is, it's okay. Yes, you're okay.
okay.
So, and like you mentioned, very few people go into any type of what people will quote unquote call a healing crisis, because we're not going into the story. We're staying out of the meaning making, and we're going into a resonance shift. All right. So,
Which it's just you release discordant energies, and then you have more resonance in your field, so you have more capacity to use the frequency to do what you want to do and create cool stuff.
and it's okay for us to have desires. It is because
Yeah.
it's a
Susie
path
Jones
through.
says, thrilled to be part of this. Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, so just setting up here.
And Lynn Myers says, happy faces.
Lynn Myers likes to talk in emojis. All right, wonderful. All right, so those of you that are participating, here we go. So we begin by just settling in right where you are. You can take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. I'm giggling because electronics are going to try to disturb us there. Clear for permission from outside you. We begin by getting agreement from all the energies of you to transcend the entirety of the imprint overlay complex that creates permission coming from outside you. One of the energies is the waiting for permission from outside other for creation. So as we allow ourselves to tap into our inner communication, we ask, do you have agreement to transcend the entirety of the outside permission complex with your highest consciousness? That is whatever it is for you that I will call Creator Source. You'll get a yes or a no.
Yes.
And as you have your yes, we now ask your cognitive thinking mind to take a mini vacation as we go through this clear today. Its entire job is to watch the energies change. We call in your pure beyond support team, all of the unseen energies available to support you. We invite in your higher self, and we invite officially in the clear channel, creating a safe, quantum, multidimensional space for transcendence for you today. Acknowledging that you are fully supported, aware that anything of value in this energy will be available when you need it. Knowing that anything there is for you to comprehend, that it will come to you with ease and grace, gently, gently, gently. In the next 3 weeks, it could come as a thought, a feeling, an aha life moment, a synchronicity. And as that awareness comes in, it will support you in continuing your own personal conscious evolution and expansion. Going outside all the fields of interference to the mantle of source, we call in your creator source and light scribes. Your light scribes are consciousness energy that can scout out the entirety of this dysfunctional permission complex. As the light scribes locate, creator source transcends and replaces with its own resonance the entirety of this complex, whether it's unknown or known, inactive or active, nowhere or everywhere. We'll give the team a couple minutes to do this transcendence. As the clearing continues in the background with ease and grace, we now ask Creator Source to awaken your resonance of wholeness. As your resonance of wholeness is activated multidimensionally, activating all of those connection points of you, protected by their awakener, your Creator Source energy. We ask Creator Source to bring in the life force energy available to you, filling your field. As your resonance of wholeness is activated, we ask it to dissolve. Dissolve all of the overlays, imprints, implants, insertion explants, and any other harmful energies that this complex holds, past, present, and future, in time, out of time, beyond time, through time. As we ask the dissolving of all the anchors within the timelines, past, present, future, and alternate, we request that all of the cellular memory is dissolved, ancestral woundings, dysfunctional relationship between self and other that is created throughout all timelines, in all dimensions, interdimensionally, hyperdimensionally, and multidimensionally now. We'll give the dissolving a minute here. As this dysfunctional permission complex continues to transcend, clearing and dissolving, we ask Creator Source to discharge the electromagnetic disharmonic energies that you hold related to this.
Perfect.
As the clearing, dissolving, and discharging continue in the ideal timing for you, we ask Creator Source to awaken the enjoyable energies inside your quantum activated field. As all those enjoyable energies, ways of being, feeling, and experiencing life that you enjoy are activated, we ask them to secure, stabilize, initiate, ignite, and preserve now. We ask Creator Source to awaken inside you, safe and supported, As pure, safe, and supported energy from Creator Source come in through your crown, they connect in your heart space, integrate, grow, flow, and expand. As pure, expanded, safe, and supported energy fills your entire field. Notice what you notice as it embodies and continues to grow and flow, filling the entirety of the earth, galaxy, universe, cosmos, multiverse, omniverse, and beyond. As pure, expanded, safe, and supported energy fills every cell of your being. Every atom and all the spaces between your atoms. Secure, stabilize, initiate, ignite, and preserve the way of being, feeling, and experiencing life, where you are purely safe and supported now. We ask Creator Source to awaken inside you self-permission. As expanded self-permission from Creator Source comes in, connects in your heart, integrates, grows, flows, and expands. As this pure, expanded self-permission fills your entire field. As it continues to grow and flow after the embodiment, it fills the entirety of the earth to the omniverse and beyond. As pure, expanded self-permission fills every cell of your being, every atom, and all the spaces between your atoms, the connector to the Creator Source energy that you are. Secure, stabilize, initiate, ignite, and preserve a way of being, feeling, and experiencing life, where self-permission and each moment in its purest expanded form is there with you now. We ask Creator Source to awaken inside you effervescent joy and aloha. As pure, effervescent joy and aloha come in through your crown, they connect in your heart. Integrate, grow, flow, and expand. As pure, expanded, effervescent joy and aloha fill your entire field. Allow yourself to notice as it embodies and continues to grow and flow, filling the entirety of the earth to the omniverse and beyond. As pure, expanded, effervescent joy and aloha fill every cell of your being. Every atom and all the spaces between your atoms. Secure, stabilize, initiate, ignite, and preserve a way of being, feeling, and experiencing life with full, pure access to effervescent joy and aloha now. We now ask Creator Source to awaken all of the enjoyable energies connected to your physical energy field here in the Earth experience. We begin with your grounding Earth Star energies, awakening your root stability, sacral creative, solar plexus movement, heart, truth, high heart harmony, throat, expression, occipital, channeled wisdom, third eye insight, crown higher guidance, soul star grace, inspiration, galactic universal and cosmic gateway, enjoyable energies, awaken now. Secure, stabilize, initiate, ignite, and preserve all of these enjoyable energies in your earth experience field as we ask the expanded you to awaken to your spark of origin. Connect, secure, stabilize, initiate, ignite, and preserve as you bring in through your crown the most expanded consciousness in the best ecology for you in your earth experience now. Allowing that consciousness to flow below your heart into your lower centers, secure, stabilize, initiate, ignite, and preserve the energy. The wisdom, the knowledge, the resonance, the vibration, the awarenesses. As you allow yourself to hold more and more and more of your expanded self embodied. Actualizing your field here in your earth experience and beyond, multidimensionally. We give gratitude and thanks to your light scribes, creator source, your pure beyond support team, the clear channel in you, for allowing this clearing and awakening today. Know that you are and we are infinitely expanding, eternal, magnificent, glorious, enlightened, actualized, realized, aware, omniversal and beyond, multiversal, cosmic, universal, galactic, earthly, and physical, connected, intuitive, channeling and expressing higher wisdom, speaking your authentic truth, masculine and feminine energies harmoniously embodied in our open heart filled with joy, aloha, and truth in your power, worthy and in action movement, deserving, creating, and co-creating, included, safe and stable as you are grounded here on earth, while you are expressing here and connected always to your spark of origin in all ways. And so it is. When this clear experience feels total and complete for you, as you remain connected, grounded in your body, here in the physical earth plane, from your awakened heart, filled with self-permission in its purest and expanded form, safe and supported energies, effervescent joy and aloha, and so many more enjoyable energies. Come back into the present moment. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, wiggle your nose, your ears if you can, blink your eyes, and open them wide.
Awesome.
You look extra shiny, Kathy.
Yeah,
I'm like, mahalo nui, Renee, for that ask.
Zach wrote, I imagine what would happen if everyone on Earth just stopped and vibrated together like this. Stop the distraction.
Oh, feel it, feel it. Did you feel it happen when you read it? Imagine it.
I'm tingly anyway. Tingly here.
Oh my goodness! In my sensing, the release of the emotional state at a collective level by Zach's ask is formless and beyond words. Ooh. Yes.
Perfect. So even just sitting in silence, feeling each other in their humanness and divineness. Says, at least we bring it to everyone with this practice. Enjoy the day.
Mahalo. Enjoy the day.
I just have to thank you. I'm going to thank you. Fabulous. Thank you so much. And
Wow.
everyone that please share this so others.
Well, and I want to give Don Lynch a shout out. He knows I'm doing a discharge during it. I talked to him. And yeah, I was like, Don, da, 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 da. And he's like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. You know, so the communication, and it's like, you know, like when those kind of things are brought and it can be incorporated. So it's not like he does it. I'm like, it's different. And he's like, it's okay, do
Oh,
it. I'm like, that discharge is so cool because the electromagnetics
mhm.
change too. So that's really
So Susie Jones says, wow, perfect indeed presence. And Lynn Myers says, thanks. Thanks, Jay. And I'm
wow.
sure Renee says thanks. And I say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you, Kathy, for the opportunity. Thank you, everyone, for participating.
Yeah, I
And
wish
everybody have.
we'd play more.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, the code to get the discount for the birthday 50% off is
Oh,
birthday.
okay.
And Kathy, I'll send you a link. That's the pure link that takes them right into it. We can put it in the comments. And
Well, you can
yeah,
put in the comments.
I can. I can. I will wait to get on my next call, which I'm late for already. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. I'm the participant. So all
Oh,
right.
oh,
All
okay. Thank you
right.
so much, Jade.
Thank
Love
you.
you tons.
Love you
Thank
too.
you.
All
Thank
right. Oh,
you.
hui ho. Bye bye.